This is the story of two individuals who achieved wealth very differently. Try and see where you fit into their stories. First, we have Mark. Mark's parents taught him to do well in school, get good grades so you can get into a good college, and get a good job. Mark graduated top of his class and landed a six-figure career in finance. As expected, Mark did very well and quickly advanced to a lower-level management position. The income was good, and Mark felt like he was well on his way to achieving the American dream. He started a family, and after saving a few years for a down payment, they were able to buy a beautiful house on the edge of town. The mortgage was steep, but with Mark working 50 hours a week, they were able to make the payments and even lease Mark's dream car. The mounting monthly payments began to take a toll on Mark. Some days at work were harder than others, especially when the economy took an unexpected downturn. Not only did Mark's 401k take a hit, but so did his performance at work. Despite the hard times, as Mark grew older, he continued to find success by working harder, sometimes putting in 60-hour weeks. Mark couldn't help but wonder if this was ever going to end, if he'd ever get out of the never-ending cycle of corporate America. He felt stuck, but kept his head down and continued working to provide a comfortable life for his family. The highlight of his year was his family's annual vacation to the beach. One of the few times a year Mark got to unplug and connect with his wife and kids. He was proud of the success he'd had over the years and that he could teach his kids that hard work pays off. Mark's 401k continued to rise, and he calculated that he was on track to retire by 68. Despite some credit card debt, house and car payments, and helping his kids through college, Mark was able to retire a year early at 67. He and his wife lived their 70s to the fullest, finally getting to spend time together without the weight of work on Mark's shoulders. Mark's story is a familiar one, as it is the American dream we are taught. The problem is, this dream prioritizes liabilities over assets, bad debt over good debt. Let's tell another story to see if there's a better way. This is Amy. Amy rides her bike to work most of the year, where she works on an ambulance as a paramedic. Amy's parents taught her to always save a portion of her paycheck and live within her means. She drives a practical car and was able to buy a modest home in the suburbs where she raised her family. Amy's parents also taught her the importance of investing in cash-flowing assets, specifically real estate, as they believed it was the best and most secure way to build wealth. Amy and her husband met with a mentor who specializes in apartment investing. They joined his program, and it didn't take long for Amy to be overwhelmed with a whole new language. But Amy was plugged into a network of like-minded people who encouraged her and coached her to get started. She was off to the races. Within a few months of educating herself and building her team, Amy had apartment deals flowing in. Within a year of joining the mentorship program, Amy and her husband, along with a partner and a couple dozen investors, were able to close on their first apartment complex, a C-Class 70-unit property with plenty of value-add opportunities. They made a 25% down payment and borrowed the rest from a lender, and quickly, after implementing their business plan, the value of the property began to rise. Not only was the property appreciating, they were able to raise rents and decrease expenses, and soon the monthly cash flow was improving. Amy didn't necessarily care about the money, she cared about time. Time to travel, time to adventure and camp, and enjoy her family's favorite hobbies. It wasn't long before Amy had a healthy portfolio of apartments, and she was able to retire from her job as a paramedic, living off the cash flow. She and her family were able to travel to Australia, Europe, and even go fishing in Patagonia. Within 5 years of meeting her mentor for the first time, Amy had invested in multiple markets across the U.S. Sometimes she'd invest passively as a limited partner. Sometimes she'd sponsor a deal as a general partner. Typically, after 5 years, Amy and her team would sell the property for a large profit that was shared amongst her team and their investors. Apartment investing was a lot of work, but it was work that Amy loved because not only did it give her and her family financial freedom, it gave them time freedom. Amy's story is not typically told, as it is not the way we are taught to achieve the American dream. It prioritizes assets over liabilities, good debt over bad debt. This concept is best described by Robert Kiyosaki in his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. He once said, "Real estate investing, even on a very small scale, remains a tried and true means of building an individual's cash flow and wealth. This is the backbone of our mindset. Contact us today. We'd love to hear your story. Be blessed."